Welcome to Maranatha Teaching Channel. I'm Femi Fenoyo, your host. Last episode, we focused on the changing face of the war in the Middle East. We had a quick look at the last days prophecy of Ezekiel chapter 38. Ezekiel prophesied that in the last days there will be a massive invasion of Israel from the north by a number of nations led by Russia, Gog of the land of Magog. Few of the nations in the alliance were revealed to be Turkey, Iran, Sudan, and Libya. Ezekiel revealed that there will be a number of other nations in addition to those named. This will undoubtedly include Iran-controlled Syria, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hamas in Gaza. One striking fact is that all these Ezekiel 38 nations, as of today, are radical Islamic nations that continue to express hatred for Israel and who would like to see Israel destroyed. Furthermore, just as prophesied by Ezekiel many years ago, today all the nations aforementioned have a good relationship with Russia. Furthermore, the election of President Donald Trump in America and his Middle East foreign policy and strong support for Israel means these Ezekiel 38 nations are increasingly coming under more influence of Russia. It is easy then to see how this nation will support Russia's invasion of Israel. But why will Russia want to invade Israel, and what possible justification can Russia give under international law for such invasion? Let us look at the second question first. Believe it or not, there is already an international framework, or rather loophole, that Russia can explore to justify her invasion of Israel. That framework is the United Nations, and the lethal weapon is United Nations security resolutions against Israel. The UN was established in 24th October 1945 at the end of World War II with the aim of preventing future wars. The United Nations now has 193 members. The UN is the largest and the most powerful intergovernmental organization in the world. Its objectives include maintaining international peace and security, protecting human rights, delivering humanitarian aid, promoting sustainable development, and upholding international law. Over the years, the UN Security Council and the UN General Assembly have issued disproportionate resolutions focused on Israel. Of importance to us are the resolutions that paint Israel as an occupying power who is illegally occupying the Golan Heights. On the 18th of November 2018, of the 9 resolutions passed against the state of Israel at the United Nations General Assembly, only the United States and Israel voted against the resolution on occupied Syrian Golan, calling on Israel to return the Golan Heights to the Syrians, with 151 votes in favor and 14 abstentions. In previous episode, we learned that Israel gained control of the Golan Heights during the 1967 Six-Day War. Israel briefly lost the territory during the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Following a UN-monitored ceasefire line in the region, Israel took control of the western two-thirds of the area. In 1981, Israel annexed the Golan and extended Israel's civil law to the territory. However, the international community have never recognized this claim, despite the territory being under Israel control for more than half a century. Most UN resolutions are not binding. Article 10 and 14 of the UN Charter refer to General Assembly resolutions as recommendations. The recommendatory nature of the General Assembly resolutions has repeatedly been stressed by the International Court of Justice. Under Article 25 of the Charter, UN member states are bound to carry out decisions of the Security Council in accordance with the present Charter. Resolutions made under Chapter 7 are considered binding, but resolutions under Chapter 6 have no enforcement mechanism and are generally considered to have no binding force under international law. However, there was an attempt in 1971 by the then International Court of Justice members to assert that all UN Security Council resolutions are legally binding. The Golan Heights has acted as a strategic buffer for Israel against the ongoing civil war in Syria and now against Iran, who has established a permanent presence on the Syrian side of the border. There's another reason why the Golan Heights has become a center of attention. It has been reported that Israel has discovered a major deposit of oil on the Golan Heights. The newly discovered deposit is said to have the potential to produce billions of barrels. So, in addition to national defense reasons, the Golan Heights is also important to Israel for economic security. The scenario I've established provides an answer to our first question we started with, the question of the true reason why Russia will want to invade Israel. Ezekiel 38:10-13, thus says the Lord God, on that day shall come to pass that thought will arise in your mind, and you will make an evil plan. You will say, I will go up against a land of unwalled villages. I will go to a peaceful people who dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take plunder and to take booty, to stretch out your hand against the waste places that are again inhabited, and against a people gathered from the nations, who have acquired livestock and good, who dwell in the midst of the land. Sheba, Dedan, the merchant of Tarshish, and all their young lions will say to you, have you come to take a plunder? Have you gathered your army to take booty, to carry away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to take great plunder? This discovery of major deposit of oil on the Golan Heights will explain why Russia is making such a strong play to prop up the Assad regime in Syria. Ezekiel revealed this to us many years ago. The true reason Gog from the land of Magog, that is Russia, will form a coalition and invade Israel is not primarily to defend a so-called displaced people, but rather to take plunder, to take booty, to carry away silver and gold, and to take away livestock and good. New major deposit of oil, particularly within the context of current political and economic climate, definitely qualifies as a plunder and a booty. Russia has definitely gathered its army and concentrated its military power in the Middle East. The question is, what will trigger the war? The players are all in place, the trophy is well defined, the legal excuse to attack Israel is not far-fetched. What is the factor that will trigger this war? Some people think the trigger may be the fulfillment of Isaiah 17 prophecy, the destruction of Damascus. Isaiah 17:1-3, the burden against Damascus, behold, Damascus will cease from being a city, and it will be a ruinous heap. The city of Aroah are forsaken. They will be for flocks, which lie down, and no one will make them afraid. The fortress also will cease from Ephraim, the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. They will be as the glory of the children of Israel, says the Lord of hosts. Damascus is the capital of Syria. It is the second largest city in Syria with a population of about 2.6 million. Damascus, the seat of power of Assad regime, has escaped much of the ravages of war, but its sprawling outer suburbs have been pounded to near oblivion. History tells us that Damascus was captured and destroyed by the Assyrians in 732 BC. It then lay ruin for many years, but later became a small city in the Assyrian province. But is Isaiah 17 prophecy awaiting a final future fulfillment? And will that be the trigger for the Gog and Magog Ezekiel 38 invasion of Israel? Whether you believe one way or the other about the fulfillment of Isaiah 17, it is clear that an incident or a disaster will be used as an excuse by Russia to invade Israel. A case in point was when in September 2018, a Syrian anti-aircraft system sold by Moscow to the Syrians several years ago downed a Russian military plane after an Israeli attack on Syria position, killing 15 Russian personnel on board. Moscow blamed Israel for the accident and straight away used that incident as an excuse to deliver 4 new X-300 anti-aircraft missiles launcher to Syria 2 weeks later, despite requests from Israel to the contrary. The delivery of the X-300 system had been suspended in 2013 following a request from Israel. Kremlin now said the situation has changed. Mr. Putin is reported to have told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by telephone that the decision to strengthen Syria's air defenses was primarily intended to thwart any potential threat to the lives of the Russian military service members. So, all the players are in place. So what next? How will this all play out? As we concluded last episode, how long this final episode in the fulfillment of Ezekiel prophecy is going to last, and how many more twists and turns remain, only God knows. One thing is clear: we are in the last hours of the last days. It's been a pleasure to have your company on this episode. Please join me next time on Maranatha Teaching Channel. I am Femi Fernando, your host. Shalom.